Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to my channel. So today we're going to be reviewing a book called Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Definitely something you want to pick up if you need some motivation in your life. We're going to be reviewing the top 5 lessons and how I was able to use that in accomplishing 32 consecutive days of Murphs. So without any further delay, let's get into it. Come on.
We pull thick, baby. Let's push it. Come on.
You're in danger of living a life so comfortable and soft that you will die without ever realizing your true potential. This is a quote from David in the book Can't Hurt Me, and every time I hear this quote, it hits me pretty deep. It makes me think of those stories of people on their deathbed, and they're asked, what are some of your biggest regrets in this life? And they usually answer with some sort of disappointment. They say, I wish I would have gone after my dreams. But because they thought it was too risky or impossible, they settled with that comfortable and unfulfilled life they had been living. Guys, if you have goals or you have dreams, just know you're gonna have to have patience, you're gonna go through some pain, and you're gonna have to have daily persistence. The question is, how do we develop more mental toughness so we can see the bigger picture, push past our limits, and learn from our failures along the way? Well, before we answer this, let's dive deeper into David Goggins' life and broken childhood. All right, so who is David Goggins? Well, to me, I think he's one impressive dude, and he's accomplished some pretty amazing stuff in his life. So for instance, he retired from the Navy SEALs as chief. He graduated U.S. Army Ranger School. He's competed in over 60 ultra marathons and triathlons. He's placed in the top 3 in a lot of these races. And he once held a 24-hour pull-up record. He had 4,030 pull-ups in 17 hours, which is crazy. Now, some of you out there are probably like, this dude is just built different. You know, mentally and physically, he's just a stud. Well, if you read the book, you're going to find out that this isn't true. You see, David had to go through hell to be the man that he is today. He grew up with a dad who beat him, his mom, and his brother, and there was constant turmoil in the house. And when his mom was able to eventually get him out of that environment, it was too late. And David had developed a learning disability, he had a stuttering problem, and to add on to this, he dealt with a lot of adversity. He dealt with bullying, racism throughout school, and his mindset at the time was that he constantly felt like he was born to fail. I've heard that children grow up to be a product of their environment and experiences, and for David, I would say that this was true for part of his life. So how did a man who grew up so broken accomplish so much? Well, let's dive into the top 5 lessons and what I learned and how you guys can use that to tap into the right mindset when trying to accomplish and achieve your goals and your dreams. Lesson 1, let go of the victim mindset. There's gonna come a point in your life, if it hasn't already happened, where you're gonna feel like a victim of circumstance. Maybe someone wronged you, maybe you didn't get that job promotion you worked so hard for, or maybe you didn't make the high school basketball team. Some of us may have had bad luck or been given the short end of the stick, but any excuse as to why you can't achieve your goal is just an excuse. You see, seeing yourself as a victim of circumstance is going to create resentment towards the people who hurt you and can create resentment towards yourself. You're going to be fearful, skeptical, and angry at the world. And that's just the wrong attitude to have. So how do we let go of the victim mindset? Guys, this is a lot easier said than done. And I've learned a lot throughout the years, but you know, from the tips that I learned in this book and just in my own life, you have to accept your situation. You have to take responsibility no matter who's at fault and stop making excuses. This gives you a much better attitude when you start taking action towards the things you want in this life. And that makes it a lot easier to let go of that victim mentality. Lesson 2, what you tell yourself matters. There's gonna be people in your life, and I know there's been plenty of people of my own, that are gonna tell you that you aren't smart enough, talented enough, or have what it takes to go after your goals or your dreams. And if you believe what they say to be true, it's gonna become true. There's this quote from Confucius. He says, "Those who think they can and those who think they can't are both usually right. So you got to learn to filter these people out. Don't believe what they are saying. I've learned that believing in yourself is a very powerful thing that you can do. Before I started the 30-day Murph challenge, there was a lot of people who said, bro, you're crazy. There's no way that's possible. I was determined though. And I believed before I even started that I was going to be able to finish that challenge. And because of that belief, because I knew what I was doing was possible, I went on to do 32 consecutive days of that Murph. You also need to pay attention to your internal dialogue. From what I've learned, some of the most important conversations you're going to have are going to be with yourself. We have thousands and thousands of thoughts running through our head each day. And if most of them are negative, how do you expect to achieve your goals? Your thoughts lead to your actions. And you have to change that internal dialogue so you can believe what you are doing is possible. Lesson 3, visualize your success. I once heard the story about a competitive archer who needed to hit his target one more time to take first place. All he had to do was hit anywhere within the circle. So he pulls back, he aims, lets go of the arrow, hits the target right through the bullseye. He's excited, he starts looking at the crowd, expecting them to be cheering, but everybody was silent. It took him a few seconds, but he then realizes he hit the wrong target, and he lost his chance of winning. To be successful, you have to be aiming in the right direction so you can hit your target. So what does this story have to do with visualizing your success? Well, you have to have a clearly defined end goal. You have to know what your target is so you can hit it. Spend the time understanding what it is that you want. Visualize your journey from beginning to end. So this is going to mean sitting there and looking and imagining what your challenges are going to be, what kind of discomfort you're going to feel, everything that's going to happen during that journey that may cause you to fail. You're also going to have to sit there and imagine the joy that it's going to feel when you're successful. You see, when you do this, you better understand your why. And your why is very important because I can tell you from my own personal experience, when things get tough, your mind is going to try to find a way out. And when it does this, it asks very, very tough questions. And you better have answers to those questions. Because if you don't, it's going to push you off target or could potentially cause you to give up. Lesson 4, get rid of distractions. We live in a society dominated by technology, whether it's our phones, Xbox, TV, whatever it is. A lot of people don't realize the effects these distractions have on our mindset. One of these is the quick fix mentality. I feel like we've been programmed over the years to have this mindset where we want the quickest and easiest solution for everything. And it doesn't always work like that. I've seen ads online where it says, gain 20 pounds of muscle in 30 days or create $1 million business in 6 months. While these things are possible, a lot of people buy into these false promises thinking it's that easy. The truth is, there are no shortcuts to our goals. It's gonna take hard work. I also hear a lot of people say that they don't have enough time in their day to accomplish their goals. And I truly believe this just to be another excuse. I don't think that they're prioritizing their time effectively. There's so much time we waste throughout their day. And to change this, you have to evaluate where you're spending your time. So for instance, everybody's attached to their phone. If I were you, download a tracking app. Sit there and understand what you're spending your time on and how much you're spending. And then cut it in half so you can spend it on more productive tasks. Lesson 5, develop an armored mind. The 30-day Murph challenge required me to do 100 pull-ups a day, and it was tough. At first, my hands started to tear open and I would get these blisters. They were uncomfortable and they were painful. But the more I pushed past that pain, eventually it got easier and my hands started to get stronger. David explains in the book that this is the same way the mindset works. So when we push past through pain and discomfort, we develop calluses in the mind, which help us get stronger. To be able to push past this pain, we have to develop an armored mind. So one of the ways David was able to do this was with a mental tool called the 40% rule. So the 40% rule is a pretty simple analogy. He uses a car as like a reference. So he says most cars have a governor placed inside their system to limit the car's speed to protect the engine from overheating. And so our minds are very similar, that when we feel any sort of physical pain or emotional pain during like peak performance, our minds try to place a ceiling on what we're doing and limit us from being able to push further. But as David explains in the book, what we don't realize is that we're only really giving 40% of our maximum capacity, and we have 60% more to give. For example, with the Murph, I made it a goal to beat my time every single day. It was a physically demanding task, and most times during that challenge, I contemplated how I was going to get it done. I focused on the weak areas, and I did everything I could to give at least 1% more, which helped me shave seconds, if not minutes.
I did it. Woo. 32 days. Murph every day. Whew. As much as it is physical, it's all mental. You just gotta learn to push yourself every day. Woo. Come on.
Whether it's work, relationships, physical activity, the 40% rule can really be applied to any scenario. All you gotta know is that we really can push past our perceived limits. We just gotta be able to sit there and tell ourselves, hey, we got more to give. We got more in the tank. Guys, I've read this book twice now, and every time I read it, it fires me up. It's what got me through the 75 Hard Challenge, and is what motivated me to do the 30-day Murph Challenge. I've realized that my mind is my biggest enemy. For years, I had searched for answers, thinking that one day something was just gonna click, and things were just gonna get easy. But that's not how it works. You see, life's tough, and you're gonna have to put in the hard work. You're gonna have to face your fears. You're gonna have to face your insecurities. It's gonna require daily grit, daily persistence, knowing that one day it's all gonna be worth it. So if you guys can master your mindset, just know that the possibilities are endless. And if I can encourage you guys out there, pick up this book, dream big, don't ever give up. Come on.